Hi, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you through an entire week of workouts, talking about my new workout split in my second week of competition prep. But first, I'll show you a pull-up AMRAP from this week. My bench sets and now I'm doing pull-ups. I was a little bit overly ambitious. I was supposed to do 5 reps RP 7, but I really wanted to see if I could do the 25 pounds. I got it, but it was definitely RP 10 plus. Just finishing up the rest of my accessories right now. In today's video, I'm going to take you through a full week of workouts from week 2. So last week, I'm currently in week 3. I hit a top triple at 145 pounds. Everything's been straight up linear progression every single week. And I started on the more conservative RPE end. So as I've gone up, each week has been executed a little bit better. And just for comparison's sake, you already saw my top triple from week 3 at 145 pounds, about RP 7.5. This was week 1, 135 pounds, moving super easily RP 5, but that's the point. You want to start out easy and then build. Basically what I do when I'm setting goals is I think of where I want to be at for week 4, and then I just subtract the amount of where I need to end up on week 1. But I set a more conservative lower end goal for week 4, and then if I'm feeling better week to week, then I could take bigger jumps. But I'm trying to just lower my expectations so that things can move quicker and not as much weight versus more weight and then move slower, because that helps me build my confidence and also helps me stay healthy. All right, moving right along to the main topic of the video, my full week of workouts. Currently, I am in the gym 5 times a week, lifting 5 times a week, and running twice a week. However, because I'm in competition prep and because my focus is strength and being as strong as possible for the platform to max out on squat, bench, and deadlift, I'm keeping the running very minimal, but I'm still running just to make sure that I don't lose the adaptation, because if anyone knows, if you've been out of the game for running and you start running again, or just with anything, even with lifting or if swimming, whatever activity you're doing, if you don't do it for a long time, your body is going to hurt. But I notice especially with running, if I stop running for a long time and then I start again, I'm literally just in aches and pains all day and just like literally limping around down the stairs. So I don't want that. I don't want to lose all the work that I've built in this off season of getting back into running. So anyways, day 1 of my workout week is on Saturdays. I have primary squats. Squats are my weakest link, but they have been slowly but steadily building and feeling more comfortable each week. I hit a top double at 225, which was pretty exciting because now I'm able to move 225 easily and it's feeling light on my back. And last competition prep, I was only able to get 230 pounds for 1 on my back before hitting 237 pounds at the meet. And then day 2 is going to be my primary bench day. So this is my lowest rep bench day, heaviest weight. I bench 3 times a week, so I get a lot of bench volume throughout the week. However, this is my focus. This is my focus day. This is when I'm having the lower rep top set. So I'm working triples throughout the entire training block. This was week 2, so I still am in the RP 6 range, just hit 3 reps at 140, and then you also saw some pull-ups, which I've also been pushing on that day, weighted pull-ups, 6 reps at 20 pounds extra, and then a bunch of other upper body accessories. Moving along into day 3, we have my primary deadlift day, and these are all consecutive. So squats were Saturday, bench was Sunday, and deadlifts are on Monday. I had a top triple at 315 pounds. It was only about RP 6 to 7. The second rep I did misgroove it because the bar got away from me on the left side, but the third rep was easier than the second rep. And overall deadlift still felt really speedy and easy. And another big win from this day was my back offsets. Typically, I haven't been hitting 285 for back offsets until week 3, and I was able to hit 3 sets of 5 at 285 pounds in week 2. So hopefully I'm on track for hitting 305 pounds for my back offsets in the last week, which will be what I started with for my top set in week 1, which would be exciting. And then the benches were all taken at the commercial gym, so I actually went home to my home gym to finish up my tertiary bench day, 3rd priority bench day, and I just had close grip on this day, and it has been very good for building my triceps. I've been working on a lot of different tricep isolation exercises lately. And then I take a rest day after those 3 consecutive primary lift days, my heaviest days of the week, full rest day on Tuesday. And then I go into my secondary squat day, and I also have RDLs on this day, which has been nice because even though I only ever do competition deadlifts once a week, it's been nice to still be able to push another hinging movement heavy. And on this secondary squat day, I'm working high bar for my back offs and my main focus. However, you saw me doing an acclimation set. I called it an acclimation set instead of a top set because I'm not pushing a RPE that would be considered like a super hard working set range. It's below RP5, so it's really just getting me used to the positioning, getting me used to the weight on my back, and then when you back off and do those volume sets, it feels a lot easier, but you're not pre-fatiguing yourself. Say if I were going to go RP7, RP8, have 2 or 3 reps left in the tank, and then I do these back off sets, and then I'm tired from doing that top set, but instead I just had an acclimation set, so the back off high bar 3 sets to 6 after felt really easy. And then these are my RDLs. I was able to push 3 sets of 10 at 235 pounds, which I believe is a volume PR for me. I've done 235 several times for RDLs, but I've only ever gone up 2 sets of 8 on them, so doing sets of 10 was definitely a challenge. And then lastly, in just a minute, you will see day 5, which is my secondary bench day. Second priority, my most voluminous day of bench, so I have the most working sets, and then I also have dumbbell bench too. So overall, I have a lot of chest work on this day. I had a top set of 5. I'm just doing top sets of 5 throughout the entire training block. It was one of those days where it's like, can I just do a plate? But you know, you got to check yourself. You got to make sure that you're taking appropriate jumps. It looks really lame to load 130 pounds on the bar, but it's more lame to burn out too easy in the training block and not be able to make those straight linear progressions, which I'll talk more about in the extra of my video after I get through this. But overall, like I said, I'm in the gym lifting 5 times a week. Everything is building week to week to week. So this was week 2, which I find to be one of my favorite weeks, because week 1 you're usually feeling a little bit fatigued after going really heavy in week 4, and then week 2 you're really building that solid foundation, and even though the weights are still pretty light, you're building your confidence because you're starting to feel more recovered, and then you could start building in week 3 and 4 to those heavier weights. Before I close out this video, I just wanted to give a couple of progression examples. So for bench and deadlift, it's pretty much just straight even jumps every single week. Bench started with triple at 135 and triples throughout the whole block. So the goal is 135, 140, 145, and then I've done all those so far. So then I'll just have 150 for 3, which will be a PR. So even jumps up. I started more conservatively at the RP5 range, and I'm guessing next week will be like RP9, but this week was about RP7.5. And then deadlifts, again, straight up even jumps each week. The plan started at 305 for a triple, 315 for a triple, and then I'm dropping down to doubles for week 3 and 4. So the goal is 325, really easy, like RP6 hopefully. I'm doing that tomorrow. And then for week 4, 335. Hopefully no more than RP7, but if I'm feeling good, then that's where I have a more conservative week 4 goal. So if I'm feeling really good, then I can take a 20-pound jump, but saving that for the last week, still staying on the conservative end in the beginning of the block. And then on squats, I had a single at 215, which was a very steep back off because I changed my split around. So I only had 1 turnaround day between my primary squat day of week 4 of the previous training block and week 1 of this training block. So just an easy single, like RP5 or less. And then I had double at 225 for week 2, doubles at 230 for week 3. So I took a bigger jump in between week 1 and 2, and then I'm just taking even 5-pound jumps. If I feel really good for week 4, I'll take another 10-pound jump, but I'm just trying to play it more conservative on squats, so I'll probably just go up to 235. But again, like I said, saving more conservative goals is better in the long run because you have plenty of time. You're not in a rush with strength sports. You could be slow with your progressions, and it gives you more space to progress later on, especially when you've been lifting for a long time. But anyways, that's all for today's YouTube video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what other topics you want me to talk about in future videos. I think I'm about 10 to 11 weeks out right now, so I'm just going to be documenting the rest of my powerlifting prep as I go through these remaining weeks. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.